Witajcie moi drodzy, ja jestem Blady, witam i zapraszam was, oczywiście znowu prześwietlony, na kolejną grę, na kolejny odcinek z Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Wiem, że... Tak, znowu jestem prześwietlony, dalej nie zrobiłem z tymi roletami, ale cóż... Trzeba zapewnić muszę zapewnić regularność odcinków, żebyście chcieli regularnie tu wracać, więc... Więc jakby te problemy, no to wiecie, ja jestem dopiero początkującym. O, w tym miejscu skończyliśmy. Tak, co poprzedni odcinek skończyłem nagrywać. Mam nadzieję. Tak, to nie jest początek misji.
That's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
O, parowiec.
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Yes, it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Prosto. Fajnie się ten odcinek zaczyna prosto w kulę. To nie była kartaczowica. Na piętro wyżej. Dobra. A, już wiem czemu się tak postać kręci. Zapomniałem. Za wolno. Już wiem czemu tak nie mogłem postacią sterować. Po prostu na ustawienia myszki. Dobra. Przeczekajmy tu na razie. Myślę, że można już iść do parowca.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Ładnie. Komin, chyba. Tu mamy obrzyny. Ja chyba wolę sześciostrzałowce. No i dobra. Z czego ja szukam Daltonów.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
To było dobre. Dziura. Na pokład niżej. No ale dobra. Kolejni. Dobra, schodzimy na dół. Dopiero 5 minut. Tam tak się nie da na razie przejść. Nic ciekawego. Pancerna siatka.
Right about then, much to my relief,
Okej.
the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. It turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
The Daltons had played me like a
Tough
fiddle.
after all, is he?
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Oh, yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're
Well-
talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
No, witam was po cięciu. Niestety.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. I was coughing up smoke and pretty damn pissed. I was done playing games with those boys.
No, niestety.
It was time to settle this once and for all.
No, chociaż w końcu jakiś ten... Znaczy ta kartoczownica. Oj, to jest niestety dość ciężki fragment. Ale cóż, dalej jestem prześwietlony. Dobra. O, kolejny poziom, więc fajnie. Znaczy, wiecie, ta kartoczunica jest tak wolna w porównaniu, wiecie, do...
Bob and Grab
A co ja powtarzam,
were about to
wiecie?
come at me one at a time. They were in
Nie
this
wiem.
together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Bastka. To będzie ciężkie. Dobra. Zadłujmy. Nie 53%. 50, 60.
They
O,
got it wrong.
udało się.
A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds.
No i elegancko, udało się.
14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Dobra, umiejętności. Co tu mamy? Szybkie palce, to zdecydowanie się przyda. Zrobiony 6-strzałowiec.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
Juarez 1868.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Dobra, niezbyt udany napad na ekspres. W rzeczywistości te napady wyglądały troszkę inaczej. W sensie tak my znamy z tego, z westernów, że
I've been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above, so I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
w każdym razie w rzeczywistości te napady na pociągi to wyglądały troszkę inaczej, bo lokomotywa. Troszkę inaczej, bo
I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
Bo jak napadali, to nie pędzili tak wzdłuż pociągu, bądź nie wysadzali torów, tylko raczej napadali na stację tuż przed przyjazdem pociągu.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Żadnej znalezienia. Dobra. Dynamitu. Quickshooter zdecydowanie. Chociaż w quickshooterze akurat ta umiejętność mi się nie przyda. To już w karabinie jak najbardziej. Tą co przed chwilą odblokowałem.
I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados.
Znowu. No ale cóż. To było piękne, naprawdę. Coś zrobić z tym oknem. To wiecie, to jest i tak okno od północy, ale... To jest okno od północy, a i tak... Wiecie jak... I to jeszcze tu są drzewa. To jest park miejski niedaleko. Ranger. Dobra, obrzyn.
Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Nie mogę mieć 2 obrzynów. Szkoda. Podejrzewam, że tu gdzieś w umiejętnościach jest. Tak, z 2 obrzynów. No, dobra. Jakiś złoty karabin, no. Ta spluwa. Grenadier. Tej koncentracji, o. Znaczniki to fajnie, kat, egzekucja. Złoty karabin. Ciekawe, czy uda mi się do końca gry zdobyć tyle expa.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
Dobra. Bywasz? Elegancko. A, kolejne drzwi. A. I mamy to. Dobra, amunicja rewolwerowa. To nic ciekawego. Jakaś broń tu leżała? Ranger. A Ranger jest wolniejszy. Zobaczę o umiejętnościach. Może Ranger ma plus 30 szybkość. Nie, to jest 6-strzałowiec. Ranger, a 25 zasięg. Nie, te są lepsze. Quick shootery.
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights, but I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway, so I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Show yourself, coward!
Rok od śmierci, a tu mamy co? Strzelbę, nie. Kto tu do mnie strzela? Ja, nie widzę tego. Aha, w krzakach się schował.
Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Sadziłem beczkę. O, już prawie kolejny poziom. Nieźle. Rangery. Ranger. Pewnie Amerykanie w ten sposób raczej mówią. Albo takie po prostu stereotypowe jest. Drabinka.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
A, przerwali, żeby jakieś inne... Nie. Cutscenka jest, dobra.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that? Take cover! Retreat! Retreat!
Da się tu wskoczyć do pociągu? Da. Ciekawe, czy coś ciekawego. Amunicji? Twórz.
He's killing everybody! You call down the thunder. He'll kill us all!
Dobra, mam mało amunicji do rewolwerów. Dobrze. No ale... Jakby to będę z karabinu korzystał. O, jest amunicja. To amunicja... To chyba do strzelby? Do karabinu? Nie wiem.
Man, get shoot. Gotta give him that.
A ostatnie... Właśnie... Dobra, mam. Więcej amunicji do rewolweru. Jakieś klatki na jakieś zwierzęta pewnie, czy coś takiego, bo to... Mam nadzieję, że u was to nie jest za ciemny ten obraz.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
Mam ładne combo, już 10. Oj, nowy poziom. Dobra. Jakoś to idzie. Dobra. Kto widział, kto to widział ten przepis? Dobra. Ciszę sobie trochę słuchawki. Dobra, strzelec kolejny. Dobra. Jest, udało się.
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that. On that very same day,
Jest.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America. They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
No i elegancko. Godzina 30 do piekła. Myślę, że to już w następnym odcinku, bo już powoli zbliża się pół godziny. Więc dziękuję wam bardzo serdecznie za oglądanie. Zapraszam do kolejnych odcinków. Playlisty powinny się wam gdzieś teraz wyświetlać. To, jeśli chcecie, zostawcie suba. Jeśli chcecie dostać powiadomienia o tym, o... Małą kubkę nie zrzuciłem. O następnych filmach. No i zachęcam do łapek w górę. Stawienia łapek w górę. Dziękuję wam bardzo. Cześć.